Le colloque NPA-Le Figaro se poursuit. On va parler anglais parce qu'on a le plaisir, en effet, d'avoir des spécialistes de la planète entière. En l'occurrence, Matthew Kaminski, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hi, hello, Matthew. You're the editor, the executive editor in Europe of Politico. Politico is a new venture. Maybe people that are watching are not familiar with that, but it's a huge success, born in Washington, and the pitch is, well, how would I launch a new news magazine or a news site, but for the 21st century?
Right. I mean, just to give you a very brief history of Politico, it was founded in Washington in 2007, which was not even that long ago, but it seems like a very long time ago in sort of in media terms. And it had grown from about 30 people in Washington to now around 300 in a matter of years, and really sort of changed tremendously over that time. And last year, Politico's owner in Washington was approached by Axel Springer, which is a big German publisher of Bild and Die Welt. And this German company had gone quite aggressively into digital advertising, and they wanted to really go into digital media and experience, see what that experience is like. So they proposed a 50-50 joint venture that we created, Politico, in Europe, based in Brussels, with journalists throughout the continent, with really one main goal, is to hook an audience of people who are passionate about politics in this part of the world on a slightly different approach to journalism, a bit faster.
In what sort different?
I would say that we, and I came from a long and very happy
you've
life
been working at the journal.
At the Wall Street Journal, and before that at the Financial Times. So I really, love newspapers, grew up on newspapers. But I think our feeling has always been that, and I think those papers too are changing, obviously, that people consume. They want to consume information in a different way, at a different speed. The days where you go to your kiosk at 8 in the morning, or here in France for Le Monde at 12, these are over, because you consume information all the time, and so we want to adapt the publication to different habits of the audience we really care about.
This is the easy part, to adapt to the audience, because the difficult part when you go this way is the business model. And you have to make breakthroughs as well, business-wise.
Sure, I mean, I think you're absolutely, but I think the most important part is to figure out what business model fits the journalism you want to do, and what journalism that you do will work with the business model. There is no journalism without a business model, at least one that isn't state-supported, frankly. I mean, we are a private company, we're not a charity. For us to thrive journalistically, we have to thrive as a business.
How does it work as a business?
So Politico, the way I think we're different than a lot of quote-unquote new media publications, we're not about scale, we're not about mass, we're not trying to get 100, 300 million unique views, clicks, because our revenues are not dependent on the number of clicks. What is dependent, our revenues depend on, is being seen by the market as providing a kind of great content that a easily identifiable, almost niche audience.
A premium audience.
Exactly. There's a premium audience. For us, it's a political decision makers. In Brussels, in Paris, in Washington, in Sydney, Australia, if those people come to us because they feel they need to read us, but also because they want to, then we can create a business based, but it's about advertising.
That's enough for to live out of advertising.
Well, let me. I mean, I think we are only half dependent on advertising. By advertising, I obviously mean, the ads you see in the website, but also we do a lot of sponsorship deals where companies underwrite, let's say, a whole area of coverage. And for a year, we write more about energy than we, thanks to the sponsorship, we do events. Events are an extension of our journalism. But the other half of the business is very different too. That's a sort of B2C, as we call it.
Just one word on this B2C business, because some journalists doesn't want to be sponsored by big companies, writing on energy and being sponsored by Total. It's like a state and church question.
Right.
traditional media company. How do you solve this problem?
I mean, we have, I mean, for the strength of, I mean, both ethically, but also for our business, there cannot be any question about any sort of interference by a sponsor in our journalism. It would just kind of, it would essentially obliterate our business. We have nothing more than our reputation as being an independent, nonpartisan publication. I don't see sponsorships, you can call it whatever you want, it's basically advertising. It's no different than the ads in 1875. Someone bought in a newspaper, a company bought next to a story.
So it's not a different kind of journalism?
It is a, in some ways, a very old school journalism, at least at Politico, because we are really about trying to always break news, to be original in our reporting. And that's what, you know, the generation before mine and before that has always done, at least the ones who are doing great journalism. And I think that is not different. What is different is the way that we deliver the journalism. We do it obviously through website, a phone, through email, through a newspaper.
That's newspaper as well.
Newspaper as well. So
quite surprising.
Right, and one day, and we don't even know what the platform will be a year from now. But whatever it is, we'll adjust to it. We're not bound by any of these platforms.
This is the first 50% B2C, and then there is some kind of B2B. There is some B2B.
Right, there's a B2B part of. I think we are hybrid publication. We're a hybrid business, and that means that we have a side of it, which is half of it's, you know, sort of fireworks for the whole world, and the other half of it is kind of a secret garden for. It's called Politico Pro, where we try and take the insights we have from knowing politics well and apply it to coverage of policy. It's
like some kind of very specific newsletter, or
it's
very targeted.
Right. We call them verticals. It's a very popular word in media these days. It's essentially just intensive coverage of one area. So, for example, for technology, we cover technology. We have a very big team of people who do technology policy. We don't do what's the Apple Watch or how well is Google doing its earnings. We only cover that point, the intersection between the politics and this industry. So for technology, for example, you would get, if you're a subscriber, you pay a premium price, but for that you get a premium product, which is intensive coverage of this area.
And this is enough? It covers all your costs and you're making money?
We are doing quite fine. I think we're a new venture in Europe, just started in April. We're very encouraged by both the response to the journalism and the response on the business side, and the response from the market. The market likes it, that seems working. So we're going to be investing in expansion in the coming weeks and months ahead.
How much money do you invest in this European venture?
We are, because we are a private venture, so we don't publicize that information, but it is a significant investment. We have a staff of over 40 editorial side, and we're continuing to be adding I would say at least a dozen more in the coming weeks.
One last question, Matthew. There is build-up trends between medias. They're all eating each other. Could you be part of it and join a bigger group?
Well, I mean, Politico in the U.S. is owned by Robert Albritton, who seems to be a very happy owner and is not given any public indication that he's interested in selling it. It is not a publicly traded company, obviously.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matthew.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
See you.